Hey, free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. So just a slight clarification because I think some players think that we need R6 Espers in order to equip the brand new Divinate, right? The Esper Divinate. So anyway, I'm going to clarify all of your doubts because I did check in with the devs regarding quite a few of my pain points, and they actually got back to me with surprisingly really good information. Really free-to-play friendly ways to obtain Divinates, and I'll talk about everything and share whatever that I can share, whatever that I know will be implemented into this new Divinate system. And I must say that, yes, while this is a brand new way for whales to whale, it is not going to affect any existing players at all in a negative sense. So right now, it's not going to affect any of your normal summoning. In fact, it's only going to improve onto your summoning experience, and I'll talk about it within this video itself. So first, we have to go through every single one of these frames, and afterwards, I'll share a little bit more about my findings with the developers. Okay, anyway, let's move on. So PTR server Divinate Introduction. So Divinate is a new Esper growth system. Once an Esper has ascended to 6 stars. Okay, so this part, I think some people actually misinterpreted this, and that's why people started spamming their summons right now because they want to get R6 Espers. This is not the case. So ascension to 6 stars is essentially, I think what they mean is by fully ascending your Espers with your Sonic Miracle materials, and then I think maybe leveling up your Esper to 6 stars afterwards, which is essentially just the same thing because you need to be at least level 50 for either of these two to be true. So I think that is it for the Espers. Alright, so you don't really need a lot of investment into resonances at all. That's not going to be the case. Now then, players can unlock the Divinate feature for that Esper only. Now, Divinate captures the divine waves of an Esper by preserving moments in their life. Through equipping and upgrading an Esper's Divinate, players can imbue the Esper with new ability mechanics and attribute bonuses, thereby enhancing the Esper's combat abilities and or discovering a new role for them. So I'm not super sure about the Divinates right now, so I don't have any idea what they look like. But from what they are saying over here is that there's going to be new ability mechanics and attribute bonuses, which is essentially your stat gains, and maybe some changes to how your Espers work. So for example, if you're talking about Catherine, right now she's more of like a debuff cleanser. Maybe she might be able to provide buffs or that kind of stuff after this change, which I think can be quite interesting. It definitely shifts the meta up again, and it definitely opens more doors to different strategies and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's move on. So why we added a Divinate system? In the current Esper growth system, the primary source of enhancement for Espers is equipment, along with basic growth factors like leveling, star promotion, ascensions. However, the significant randomness associated with equipment leads to a prolonged period of growth, particularly in acquiring attribute boosts from equipment during the mid-game phase, taking up a month. Taking a month or more, and we want to offer a reliable, predictable, and long-term growth system that aids players in overcoming progress bottlenecks. This thinking has led us to the inception of the Divinate system. So essentially, what they're saying is that equipment has way too much RNG, so players are not able to... Okay, so like for example, if I have Espers at 6 stars, level 60, blah 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 blah, all that I am kept with is my equipment. And for the most part, equipment farming is the nature of the game, which means it is extremely RNG-centric, extremely difficult for you to acquire really good equipment, which is also a part of the reason why a lot of players are finding difficulty beating certain content. So instead of nerfing content, they want to power creep your Espers instead, right? They want to power boost your Espers with this new system, which is supposed to help make it a little bit easier for your Espers to become a little bit stronger. So we can expect that the Divinate system is going to be quite impactful to all of your Espers. Let's proceed. So Divinate sources. Divinate can be obtained through Echo using gold records and Divinate Echo using Divinate Disc. So there are two banners right now. There is your standard gold records banner and there is your Divinate banner itself. So these two are separate, but they both will drop Divinate pieces or your Esper Divinates. Now, as a new addition to the gold records Echo rewards, while the draw rates for legendary and epic Espers remain unaffected. Okay, so your legendary and epic Espers, they are still 10% in total. 1% legendary, 9% epics. The drop rate for rare Espers will be significantly decreased. So the drop rates of your rare Espers will be replaced with your new Divinates. So the original draw rare Espers will now be inherited by legendary, epic, and rare Divinates. And players can acquire designated Esper Divinate in up to 100 Divinate Echo spins and can get tons of Divinate Discs by challenging the Falsetto Fantasy. So two things here. Number one, the Falsetto Fantasy is going to be a new place for you to farm Divinate Discs, which you will use in the Divinate Echo only for you to summon Divinates directly. So that's what the Divinate Echo is for. And secondly, players can acquire designated Esper Divinates, which means that you will be able to select which Divinate you want to be probability raised within the Divinate Echo itself. So for example, if you want, let's say, a specific legendary Divinate, like your Gaius, for example, your Tether, or whoever, right? Then you can do so by selecting which of these Divinates will be your probability up. It's kind of similar to your Shimmer Legendary Shimmer pool, right? So it's going to be the same thing. And now, Divinate Update bonuses, the Union has prepared ample startup resources to enable players to experience the Divinate system promptly after the new system is added to the PTR and official servers, which we do not know exactly when it will be added to the official servers. We will send 7,000 Divinate discs to all level 5 plus players. Furthermore, to compensate for the adjustments made to the story stages, we will also send Divinate discs to players up to a maximum of 22,400 discs, which is in total almost 300 Divinate summons. So that's 294 Divinate discs worth of summons. It's insane. It's a lot of summons. Now, why this is so important is because we already understand that there is a PT system in the Divinate Echo itself, where every 100 Divinate Echo spins will guarantee you a legendary Divinate, for example, as well as a Divinate with raised probability that you have selected. So this is essentially about at least 3 selected Divinate summons, I would think. I think it's going to be 3 selected Divinates, which means your choice is going to be extremely important at the start, because you need to select the exact Esper that you want to give the Divinate essentially to, right? And now, finally, adjustments to the ecosystem. This is more clarification. So once the Divinate system comes online, some changes to the ecosystem will come into effect. The current guaranteed legendary Esper that pulls after 100 echoes will remain unchanged, as will the 1% pull rate for legendary Espers and 9% pull rate for epic Espers. Instead, the pull rate for rare Espers will change from 90% to 40%, so that 50% gap is now granted to your Divinates. While Divinate will pull at a rate of 1% for legendary Esper Divinates and 9% for epic Esper Divinates and 40% for rare Esper Divinates. So this is another point that I have addressed in the 10 things that Dislyte needs to do in order to fix their shit, right? Yesterday we talked about the PTR server, and today I wanted them to raise the rates for epic and legendary Espers. Okay, actually it's more just epic Espers, but they've gone ahead to raise the rates of Divinates within the GR banner itself, which is amazing. So right now we don't really need rare Espers all that much. I mean, yes, they could definitely power the rare Espers a little bit more, but frankly, a 90% draw rate for rare Espers, that is insane. That is like such a waste of currency. It's 90% of the time you're just gonna get scuffed, right? So I really like this change. This is amazing. And in addition to these changes, an additional guarantee has been added with either an epic Esper or epic Esper Divinate pulling after every 10 pulls. I'm not super sure how this works. Is it like a 50-50 or what? But instead of every 20 pulls, right now every 10 pull, you are gonna get something, which means you will no longer see the Sapphire, that blue color animation anymore, because we will never ever have any full rare Esper 10 pull anymore. That is no longer going to be the case. So we are only going to get either an epic Esper or an epic Esper Divinate every single 10 pull. This is amazing. So all in all, these changes are really good, but like I promised, I do have some extra information that I have clarified with the devs. So let me just share some of this information with you guys. Not everything that I've asked is over here. Some of the things I probably don't want to mention in case it's not allowed per se, but because most of these things you will be able to figure out tomorrow itself, I thought, hey, you know what, why not? Let me just share this information with you guys, because I'm sure a lot of you guys have the same questions and you want those answered as well. So question number 1, how exactly will the new Divinate system work in terms of resonance? Because we are damn sure that there's going to be a resonance effect added to the Divinates. So what they said is the dupes of Divinates will work similarly to resonances. Essentially, maybe you can get like, you know, R6, D6, or like animate a joke R2, D2. Okay, that's kind of hilarious. So there will be a resonance attached to your Divinates. Now moving on, the next question that you might ask is, okay, then what happens if we get more than R6 copy of the Divinate itself? What happens to extra dupes of that particular Divinate? So when dupes go above the limit, the extra ones will be converted into Divinate modules in formal term, which can be used to redeem items in shops. So this thing is not confirmed just yet, but this is going to be quite similar to your mono prisms right now. So if you have beyond R6 of something, you will always get either a Dio Prism or a Mono Prism depending on how rare your Esper is. So the same will be true for the Divinates as well. There will be its own Dio Prism and its own Mono Prism, something called Divinate modules, alright, something like that. It's like I said, it's not confirmed just yet, but it's still a really good thing that there is always an outlet for extra copies of your Divinates. And next, Divinate discs do not cost Nexus crystals, and in fact cannot be purchased through Nexus crystals directly. Divinate discs are stably dropped in Falsetto Fantasy. Also, a limited amount of Divinate discs can be redeemed during events. So Divinate discs are completely free to play. You either obtain it via the Falsetto Fantasy, which is going to be a permanent content, or you can obtain it via events. So you can't actually whale for Divinate discs, so you can only whale for Gold Records, which is not essentially gonna give you the guaranteed summon for your specific Divinate, because you cannot select which Divinate you want to get when you pull for a Divinate within the Gold Records banner. You can only do it via the Divinate Echo itself. So I think this is very, very free-to-play friendly, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be excited about it. But yes, will there be a paid aspect to this? Because you can obtain it via Falsetto Fantasy, right? My guess is yes. Okay, so if you're a huge whale, if you have really strong Espers, you're going to do better in Falsetto Fantasy, and therefore you're going to be able to acquire more Divinate discs. This is a strong assumption here, but it's a safe assumption nonetheless. And then now let's move on. There is no PT on Divinates in the standard GR Echo. So like I talked about, you will not be able to select which Divinate you want in the GR banner by pulling on the legendary Divinate. So the PT of your GR banner will not be affected. Right now, you will still be able to PT your legendary Espers, you still be able to PT your epic Espers. Those will not change for the most part. And that is really good. So right now the GR banner is just a lot more improved. It's not taken away from. So I think the changes for the GR banner is actually very, very welcome. And finally, there are currently no wish pool and banner events for Divinates. However, players can select Divinate of any legendary Esper as they are rated up in the Divinate Echo. The only currency for Divinate Echo is the Divinate disc. So there is no way that you can pay to win directly via the Divinate Echo to select the exact Divinate that you want. Like I said, I keep stressing on this, but yeah. This is for the most part extremely free-to-play friendly, and I know, yes, your Esper power will definitely reflect how much Divinates you can potentially acquire. But like I always say, it only takes time and it takes a lot of commitment to creating a really, really strong free-to-play account. And there are many free-to-play players out there who are able to achieve really, really crazy feats. So I think for the most part, I absolutely welcome this new change in the Divinate system. So we all know that this Divinate system is going to come anyway, but I was so surprised when they took probably the best alternative, the best approach in dealing with the Divinate system. So instead of creating a whole new banner itself, making it extremely pay to win, they decided not to do so, but instead improved on our Gold Records banner itself, which I think they really deserve a huge kudos for this. Okay, so this is a really good job on Dislyte. So final word for you guys, stop summoning right now. I'm not sure why people are summoning, but please do not summon right now. Save your Gold Records for when this officially drops on the global server. So stop wasting your Gold Records right now on rare Espers. It is completely not worth it right now. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you guys have any better questions for me to ask the developers directly, then leave it down in the comments so that I can pick it up and ask them directly in case it's something that is, you know, that I completely missed out on, right? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. If you did, don't forget to thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now that's it. This has been Very Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.